Hey, what is up, guys? Okay, so we need day nine. We day nine of the challenge, and obviously the theme this week is around movement. So I want to quickly I want to post a video, and I want to give you guys a little bit of insight. Look, we want to make this challenge as practical as possible. Um, so I want to give you some insight in our theme for the week in and around movement and the benefit of movements. And the reason I say movement specifically and not exercise is because I think I did briefly discuss basically the simple biology of it is the way that we lose weight is by being in a calorie deficit. Okay, so that is how we lose weight. It's evidence based. There's no other way around it. It's by being in a calorie deficit. So we burn a certain amount of calories in a day, and we consume a certain amount of calories per day. So if we burn more than we consume, we will lose weight. If we consume more than we burn, we will put on weight. Okay, so it's as simple as that. I know a lot of guys will tell you, oh, you can eat these foods and it's gonna, cause you to lose weight, even if you're in a surplus and this and that. You can eat whatever you want. We kind of want to live by the method of I want to live life in moderation and I want to enjoy good things, but I want to kind of have the knowledge to know as long as I'm over consuming and under burning or under my expenditure is low, I'm going to be putting on weight. Okay. And if it's the opposite, then I'll lose weight. So there's cool things that we can do to use as a tool. As I said, I want to make this challenge practical. So throughout this week, I'm going to be posting some very practical tips, just in the form of things that we can do to assist us in making better choices and make positive changes when it comes to burning those calories and increasing our BMR. So BMR is your basal metabolic rate. That's the rate of calories that you burn when you are at rest. Okay, so we burn calories on a constant basis. I told you the other day as well that the exercise that we do on a daily basis, so at the gym, that forms actually a very small part of our total calorie expenditure within a day. It's actually kind of insignificant. You can lose weight without exercising at all. It's possible. Obviously, you'll have to decrease your consumption, but you can do that. I don't recommend that. We obviously want to kind of make sure that we are exercising and doing specific types of training to assist. But that being said, you can, because the calories that we burn at rest just by breathing, digesting, fidgeting, moving, cognitive function, all of that causes us to burn calories. Okay, so that's it. So that's our basal metabolic rate. Then we've got on top of that, we've got movement, which is so if I'm just lying down and I'm resting, I'm burning calories. Then the movement on top of that is walking, daily tasks, getting up, getting down, doing whatever you need to do. And then on top of that, a small portion of that on top is exercise. So all of these together cause us to have our total calorie expenditure within a specific day. Now, as long as that is more than what we're consuming, we will lose weight. So one thing that we try and hone in on and harp on about in these challenges is one specific thing may not make a massive difference. But if we accumulate multiple habits and all of them together will then make a big difference, if that makes sense. So if you've read a book called Atomic Habits, it's kind of the principle focuses on specifically that. It's not, you're not trying to improve by 50 to 70% because you will fail. But if we can make incremental 1% improvements on a constant basis, the accumulation of that will then, in the bigger picture, cause us to reap the rewards, if that makes sense. So there are ways that we can naturally increase our BMR. So we can increase the rate at which we burn calories even when we're at rest. Because if we try and chase after burning calories just in exercise, we're going to go mad. It's great to do. It's fantastic if you finish your workout and you're like, yes, I burned 500 calories. But you're always going to want to burn more. It's always going to be like, okay, let me try and burn 600, let me try and burn 1,000. Eventually you're going to become an endurance athlete and you're going to be chasing burning calories and you're going to burn yourself out and train too much. We want to have moderation. We want to do our 45 minutes to an hour of exercise on a daily basis, but we want to make sure that we optimize the rate at which we burn calories when we aren't exercising. Okay, so that's the focus. There's a couple of things we can do. I'm just going to give you one or two now, and then I'll post some of them throughout the week, and I'll also post some tips on how we can naturally achieve that. So the first and most obvious one is through training, resistance training, and high intensity interval training. Specifically resistance training, a big myth is, especially for the ladies, I can't do resistance training or weight training because I'm going to get too bulky, I'm going to put on too much muscle. That is a complete myth. I want to be honest with you. I want to tell you that now. It's the same. If I had to use an analogy, it's the same as saying I'm scared I'm going to be a race car driver because I drive around in my car every day. The ladies who look big and bulky, if they're not using any external substances, they spend a tremendous amount of effort and time on training and on their diet, and we're not going to accidentally get there. Having a bit of muscle is fantastic. The more muscle you have, the more energy is required to move around, and therefore we burn more calories even at rest. Also, the high intensity interval training and the resistance training has that afterburn effect, which I spoke about, where you continue to burn calories even while at rest because your muscles are busy replenishing and recovering, and that requires energy and effort. There's a couple other things as well. First one is focusing on protein. We're going to have a nutrition theme next week, but just a quick one. Protein has something called the thermic effect of food, and that basically means the process of digesting food causes us to burn calories, ironically enough. And protein is the highest in terms of the thermic effect of food, which means your body burns the most calories by trying to digest protein. So if we can manage a good protein intake, it also helps with the muscle that I spoke about in the previous point, and it helps to make sure that we burning more calories through the digestive process. Another one I want to quickly chat about is good sleeping habits. And now this is kind of different to what you may think, but obviously your body goes through a recovery process while you sleep, so you feel well rested if you have a good night's sleep. But also being very intentional about having a good night's sleep can be very beneficial. So the reason that this can be beneficial is it might seem small and insignificant, but if I have a poor night's sleep, I'm going to be more lazy the next day. I'm going to tend to move less. I'm going to tend to want to do less, and I'm going to tend to probably sit more still on a frequent basis. So I'm going to kind of be tired. I'm going to sit around. I'm not going to do much. And while that might seem very insignificant, if you take a full 12 to 16-hour day of being a little bit more energetic and a little bit more active, the amount of calories that I can burn during that time can potentially be quite significant, especially over 2 days, 3 days, a week, a month, or whatever it may be. Remember, this is a journey, this is a process. And if we can get the 1%, the small habits right now, we set ourselves up for success in the future. We obviously focus on drinking water. That's another one. Obviously, making sure that we are staying well hydrated, good for the body in terms of just giving us a little bit more energy and feeling better as well. We want to kind of get to a point where we feel better, we feel healthy, we feel good, and that's going to kind of lead us to be a little bit more energetic and a little bit more enthusiastic about movement specifically. Obviously, our steps as well. That's a massive one. I can even share some testimonials with you, but I think you would have seen some yourself. But we obviously on our challenge this week of seeing how many steps we can accumulate within a week, that's massive. Just making sure, especially if you're behind a desk all day, making sure that we take frequent walks. We take a walk in the morning, a walk in the afternoon, or set an alarm to get up every 30 minutes, walk around the office a couple times, have a glass of water, sit back down, and carry on working. It's going to be good for your concentration and your focus, and it's also going to be good for our calorie expenditure. Again, I want to quickly mention one more thing about one or two of these points. You might think, oh, that's silly. It's not going to make a difference. But in the bigger scheme of things, coupling all of these things together or accumulating all of these habits together, then adds to the bigger picture, and they will make a bigger difference overall. So that's just week one. That's just week one of some of the things that we're going to discuss. I'll give you some practical tips as we move into the week. But next week, nutrition, that's going to be a big one because that really plays a very foundational role in our body composition. You cannot outtrain a bad diet. It's the truth. We need to make sure that through this challenge, what we're learning most is about healthy eating and practicing good eating habits. Guys, I'm sorry I took a bit of your time up this morning or during the day. Hopefully you got a chance to watch this. Hopefully you found some value in it. And again, I think the magic will be in the practicality. So we'll share some tips with you throughout the week. But good luck for day 9. I hope you guys are enjoying the challenge so far. Let's stick to it. Let's stay motivated, and we'll see you at the box. Cheers.